Oh. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Between a Pot and a Hard Place. I guess, Natasha. Um, no, I'm
and
Stephen Colton. But
and I am Christopher Patrick, and I guess I'm Scarlet Witch.
yeah, see, Corey sent me two of these. He sent me this one, and then he sent me one with us in. It's not the same people, but as women in bikinis on the beach or something. I'm like, okay, that they're both pretty funny, but I think this one is better.
This one is
Um,
far more relatable, I think.
yeah, I think so. I'm not sure how I would be as Black Widow, but you know. And I'm wearing a Marvel shirt too, so
Right.
that works out.
It really does. It really does fit. I feel like
Um,
I could
yeah,
do the whole crazy Scarlet Witch hand jive thing.
I can. I I like to look at Elizabeth Olsen. Oh, and I look like her. That's your character. Dang. The
Yeah,
other girl's good
that would be
too.
just creepy.
Yeah, I'm just staring at you all day. Okay, well, yeah. Welcome to the show, everybody,
Right. And this just got awkward.
and we're both very attractive ladies. I guess. I mean, if you want to say that, I love how we still have our facial hair in the pictures. That's a little creepy, but it is what it is, I guess.
Right. I mean, I think
Hello.
mustaches and beards only make it better. So
Yeah. Now I feel even weirder for wearing a hat while wearing a tank top. I'm like, am I playing baseball or basketball today? I don't know. Um, it is what it is. I'm so used to wearing my hat on these shows. I get to the point where I specifically put it on, like it's showtime, and then I'm
right.
like, why am I wearing a hat?
It's a part of your uniform.
I guess so. And this is an addition. I don't know. I just saw it tonight, thought it was really cool, and so I threw it on. And I'm like, oh, why am I wearing this on the show? I don't know, but it is what it is.
If the jersey fits, wear it.
Yeah, it feels it's comfortable and everything. It's that type of like that polyester cotton blend sort of thing. So it's not too itchy like cotton, and it's not too like whatever polyester. That polyester's kind of itchy too, I guess. But it's a nice, I don't know, nice mix.
So listen, I want to apologize
Always my
about
job.
yes, absolutely. I want to apologize about Friday.
Eh,
Number one, I totally missed that you were inviting me to come back on Friday, and I had not. I don't think we'd even talked about it during the week. Um,
not
and
really.
by the time you gave me the reminder, I was already unavailable. So
I mean, it happens. I mean, it's one of those things. I almost forgot myself. I had a fun time just kind of like going on about whatever. I don't even remember what I was talking about 2 days ago. I'm like, wait, what did I say? Um, I don't know. I almost thought, well, let's put it off. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead. I feel like talking. I don't know.
yeah,
I was showing everybody my new action figures. I don't know. I didn't show these on the main show, I don't think. This April O'Neil from the first movie.
no. So she has a sign now.
Yeah, she came with the Psy, and that was the scene in the movie where I believe earlier on where the Foot attack her, and then Raphael tries to save her, and he drops the Psy, and then she picks it up, and that's when like I lost the Psy. Damn, you know, that's from that version or that part of the movie, and then later on I found the 2-pack, one of the 2-packs I was looking for, this April, which it's the same woman from the same movie, but they're two different outfits. So I was like, okay, well that's two different versions. So I feel better about having
It's the
two.
morning look and the afternoon look. Yes.
Yeah, this is when they're living on the farm, near the middle of the movie, and now they won't stand up because these come with little stands.
Okay.
Because she's wearing little heels, so that she doesn't stand up very well on her own. And even with these, like the body weight shifts, and it's so weird. So I'm probably gonna set these aside because if I try to stand them up, we'll spend 30 minutes trying to stand her back up. This one is really cool. That's why I bought the 2-pack.
Okay.
Now he has a removable head. They all do, and he has another head that's in the box. I should have dug it out before the show, where he doesn't have the mask on. And then there's another extra mask, and I thought, yeah, you're gonna be able to put it on him and take it off, but the strap. This is all molded to his head, but on the loose mask, the strap is like bunched up, so he's supposed to be holding it, not actually wearing it. I'm like, but it's still cool. It really bugs me that he did not come with a hockey stick, or a baseball bat.
I don't think I've ever remember seeing him with a katana blade.
Yeah, and he came with it, and I thought, okay. And then I wondered, why am I having him hold the blade in his hand? But I guess the sharp end's over here. I don't know. But yeah, I remember him having different weapons in the first movie because, he was fighting Raphael, and then Raphael makes a joke about the Jose Canseco bat and all this stuff. And I think at one point he had a sword or at least some sort of machete or something when he was fighting. I can't remember exactly, but it seems like he might have had something. The name of your favorite pizza. Okay,
so a little bit of context. Cool. Last night we celebrated my Mother's Day with my mom out in Yermo. It's where I had spent a number of years. So it's out in the middle of the high desert by Barstow.
Okay.
And it's they've got a really awesome 50s diner out there. And so they also have a pizza place. And one of the pizza toppings they have is called the Casey Jones. And of course, they name it the Casey Jones because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Is it shaped like a hockey stick? Like, that'd be cool.
No, it's shaped like a regular pizza, but we definitely enjoyed the fact that it was, inspired by the movie.
Well, you could say it's shaped like a hockey puck. Because Casey Jones, he did play hockey. I think he said that he played hockey for a little while.
Oh, I believe it.
But yeah, I wanted to show off the Casey Jones and April box because I love these boxes. They have the art with I cannot see this image enough. I remember being like, that movie was 1990. So I was like 4 or 5 years old when this movie came out.
Yeah.
And I remember being in a drive-in theater in the bathroom and the poster being on the wall. Now, I don't know if I was there watching that movie at the drive-in or if we were watching something else, because I only have a very few memories of the drive-in theater before it was shut down. But I'm pretty sure we saw this movie at the theater. And the art on the back, it's just, pictures of them in poses like in that scene from the movie.
So the guy who played Casey Jones, isn't that Mandy Patinkin?
I believe so.
So the same guy from, oh gosh, now the name of the movie is escaping me, but
yeah, I can't think of anything. Oh my gosh, I think I know what you're talking about though, and he was also in Turtles 3, but yeah, I mean here's his other head. The detail is actually pretty good, I think. And the part that impressed me the most, all the hands and stuff, but they have April's drawings.
Oh, really?
Little tiny pieces of paper with those pictures on them. There's only two. There's the one with Donatello, or was it Leonardo? Leonardo, I think, when they're in the bathroom and Raphael's in the tub. Yeah, and then Donatello was in the truck. But yeah, it's really cool. I love these figures. They're expensive. Buying them in a store, I think it's like $59 for 2-pack.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and if you find them on eBay or something, of course, it's going to go way up, $100, whatever. And they have the single figure of the kid, Danny, who was, the news guy's son. And there's a figure of him. I've never seen one in the stores, but I see them on eBay all the time. They're like 100, 150. I'm like, geez, I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to pay that much for one figure. But I do love the April box, the single April that I got. The effect doesn't really show on camera too much. Well, it kind of does. When you shift it, it goes static to April, and then the box opens up, and it's got really cool pictures. She even comes with a little accessory that's got like a bunch of pizza boxes stacked up.
Okay.
And a news microphone. I don't know. These are really awesome figures. I've gotten hooked on buying those.
That is cool. Yeah, I figured out the movie that Mandy Patinkin is from. He's from The Princess Bride.
Ah. Man, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Princess Bride. But yeah, I need to watch that movie again because I believe it's the same people that make these figures. It's NECA, and I love how they style their logo on the Turtles. Right. Because it's just like the classic cartoons. When you see the tapes and stuff, it had that font, that style. And but But they make so many figures. They make Golden Girls figures. They make Back to the Future figures. They make A Christmas Story. Like all these figures. And they have these, what was I thinking of? Princess Bride, right. They have these Princess Bride figures. I don't know if they make these, but I want to get some of them. The only one you can find is, it's got the red dress, and I forget her name. Oh, God, why can I not remember her name? The actual princess, or the actual...
What, Buttercup?
I think so. I haven't seen that movie in like 85 years, so I need to watch it again. But yeah, they have a figure of her, and that's all I ever see at like Target stores. It's just that one, and they also have a couple of other. Well, they have others, but like the only one you ever see is that one. I really want Andre the Giant's figure from that because they have his character as a figure, and I've never seen one in person, but I want that one. And if I find a Betty White Golden Girls figure, which is probably going to be hard to find, I'm going to buy that one. But yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as toy buying and everything. I still love these turtles. These are some of my favorite action figures. This is probably my single favorite Turtles action figure I have ever had, even from when I was a kid. Just because the detail is just so amazing. And, the way he moves, his whole upper body is separate from his shell, so it can, there's a joint in it. It's just really cool.
That's great.
Yeah. That means you got to be careful with some of these because the paint can fade. They're really meant as collector's things, not to go, yeah. They're really not like kids' toys, which sounds weird to say because it is a toy company. Please don't fall down. There we go. But yeah, those are fun to buy. It's an expensive habit, but it's like I tell people, at least it's not crack.
That's true.
I mean,
there's a lot worse things. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. Cool. I think what's great. It's amazing that things that you are passionate about when you're younger, you're still passionate about even when you're an adult. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's funny too because a couple of months ago I was in a Target buying some. I don't remember what it was. Maybe wrestling figures. This box I've kept. Even though I had to shred it open because it was kind of damaged already, this was a Hulk Hogan action figure. And I have those figures like over there somewhere. But there's certain characters that I'll collect in wrestling. But I bought like 4 figures at the same time at a Target a while back. And this older lady was at the checkout, and she might have been in her 70s. And she's looking at them like, okay. And she looks at me like I'm definitely not a kid. And she's saying something like, can I ask what you're going to do with all these? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to buy them to take home and collect. Well, that's great. That's awesome. Don't never lose that. That's so good. And she was basically saying what you just said, I hold on to that, like, not innocence, but that childlike sense of like, yes, I love this, the nostalgia, and always hold on to that. I'm like, all right. So an older lady at Target told me to never stop buying toys, so that's why I have to keep going. You just respect your elders, and she's my elder, and I have to listen to her. So, sorry, bank account, but the old lady at Target said so.
It sounds like you're letting old ladies tell you what to do, Stephen.
I mean, if they tell me to buy toys, I'm going to buy toys. If she tells me to buy like My Little Ponies and stuff, I'm going to tell her she's crazy. But never got into My Little Ponies. But I did get into Moon Knight, this new show on Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh!
And
so,
I
was worried that we were going to go into this conversation, and then I was going to find out that you had not watched the last episode.
I almost hadn't watched it because when I did the show on Friday night, just kind of chatting with a couple of people that were popping up in the comments, and it was, I can't remember who asked, but they were like, "What did you think of Moon Knight?" And I didn't see it because I forgot that it was the last episode. And I remember watching it, I guess yesterday, because that was on Friday night. So yesterday I watched it. I was going to watch it earlier in the day yesterday, but for some reason, all the video apps would not work for me. It would just spin and spin and spin. I backed out, went to YouTube, nothing would play. So I just reset everything a couple times and it was fine. But I eventually watched Moon Knight, and oh my gosh. I think it's my favorite episode so far. I mean, obviously, because it's this big, huge ending and this kind of a twist, but something you kind of expected to see, but at the same time, like they really did it. So yeah, I thought it was crazy because leading up to the last episode, we see that Steven and Mark, I still don't. It's one of those things for me that I get stuck in a mind loop. Like, what are they doing? Are they really two separate people now? Are they not? Because they keep interacting, and that was all kind of like in this weird spirit, like purgatory type place.
Well, and I think that a lot of the flashback we get about things, we find out that that Mark is the real person.
Yeah, right? That was a shocker. I thought Steven was the real person, as everybody else did.
I guess. Exactly, and that was the real surprise. But Mark was the real person, and he had ended up creating Steven to deal with the loss of his real brother.
It makes me wonder if my name is really Mark.
That'd be cool.
I have to call my mom.
Oh, by the way, before we go any further. Definitely want to take the opportunity just to say Happy Mother's Day to all of those people out there. There we go. Yeah.
Yes, Happy Mother's Day. I sent my mom, and some people may have seen it on Facebook. I ordered it online, and it was this little canvas print that had like my name and birthday, and I put my brother's in there, and he had passed away a few years ago, and so I knew she would love that. And then we video chatted when she opened it from the mail. And I was like, it's going to make you cry. What is it? Is it a recliner? I'm like, no. And like all this stuff. And she finally got it. And I was like, I told you it was going to make you cry. So I win. I don't know what I'm winning, but like, I don't know.
Well, you won that she liked it.
Yeah. And it was neat. I mean, I'd seen several things like that in the past, but I don't know. It's something struck me like I have to do this. And I was filling it out, and the customized kind of gift is always a little bit more meaningful, I think, than just here's a gift card to Starbucks or whatever. But yeah.
So I will say the only thing that Jake is the other personality. I think that we.
Oh yeah, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but
little out of sync. But I think the only thing that I didn't care for with Moon Knight was that it's too fast. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that happened in this last episode, and I would have liked at least 8 episodes just to draw it out.
Yeah, maybe even as far as to say it's 10, but like 8 would be great because it seems like a lot of these other shows go about 8 episodes, and 7 is an odd number. Well, literally, but it's an odd number.
I think they only did 6.
Oh, was it 6?
Just 6.
Okay, I don't know why I thought 7. But wow, well, 6 is still odd because and you think there's a lot of story packed into those 6 hours.
There really is.
A lot. And it doesn't feel like only 6. It felt like almost like 10, but then you realize, like you said, it's really fast. Like it was done in like a month.
I think what I really enjoyed though is, this is a show that is. They're not going to give us anything in there that we don't need. They're going to really focus on telling a tight beginning and middle and end as an origin story for a character that maybe people don't know very well. So I was really thankful for that.
Yeah, I was too. And I agree, though, a little bit with what Clemente's saying. 8 might have been more useful and satisfying. I think they could have tied some things up.
They really could have.
Or raised some more questions, and then because they definitely left it on a pretty decent cliffhanger, but they could have explored a little bit more to that. Right. And this is going back to episode 1, really. And we can jump ahead. I guess we realize that Mark and Steven are there, but then there's also this third personality.
Well, and I think we realized that too. That there were moments when neither Mark nor Steven were behind the wheel, and yet they would find themselves, just seeing, people being killed or somebody being stabbed. And I think there had always been the assumption that it was the other person who had done it. So the idea that there's a third person, and in this case, that third person, that third personality is the one that Khonshu has this deal with. I think that's pretty crazy.
And the interesting part about it is this deal has been going on from the beginning. As soon as the moment that Mark becomes the avatar for Khonshu in the very beginning, which we don't see that exact moment, but it's kind of before the season starts, I guess, off screen. At that moment, Khonshu, I think, maybe originally made the deal with what was his name? Jake, I guess. And then so he's like conspiring with Khonshu this whole time, and it's like, wow, that was pretty cool. And I kind of saw it coming at the end. Because I know when we first started talking about Moon Knight, Corey actually mentioned in one of the comments that in the comic he had more than two personalities.
Right.
So we kind of knew they would at least throw one more out there, and they dropped hints throughout the entire show. But in the very last moments where he's walking out, there's this guard walking out, and you see only from his head below or his kind of neck below. I'm like, that's Steven or Mark or somebody. I knew it was that man, but I didn't know what form. And then they reveal him. It's like, okay. And then that's the end. It's like, is there going to be season 2? Like what?
We don't know.
Yeah. And it's crazy, but the episode itself was so good too.
It was great. I think that part of what I really liked is, we had them, we had Steven and Mark in the mental hospital, and we really weren't sure exactly whether Ethan Hawke's character Harrow was trapping them there, or whether they were there as a kind of a version of the afterlife. And so we're not really sure how that worked out. As a big fan of the Legion television show on FX, for me, I saw a connection between the two of them. The idea that both of them have multiple personalities, and both of them end up sort of hallucinating things that aren't real. The Legion show had a number of times where we had thought that the main character was in a mental institution when he really wasn't. And so I really felt like they were intentionally playing on that a little bit.
Probably. I'm not really too familiar with that, but that sounds like it could be. And there were definitely moments I was like, wait, is he really just insane?
Right.
But then when he had that confidence of not being, I'm like, oh, okay, no. It's almost like we were another personality of him that wasn't able to come out. Or I don't know. It was really cool, though. I love the way that show was done. I had never really heard much about the character before going into the first episode. I heard the name Moon Knight, and that's it. I knew nothing else.
I think the other part of it too was that here we had, we had a character who is searching for balance, and both of the personalities inside Mark and Steven, they're not in balance with each other. They really were fighting one another, and that was making it hard for either of them to survive. And so going through all of this, I think that the realization that their very existence was on the line until they figured their stuff out. And that was a pretty powerful moment.
And I really liked, at first when, Mark goes back into the sand to get Steven and try to rescue him or whatever, I thought, leave him there. It's like the hippo was saying, like, you're at peace. Why would you want to go back? I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, do you really need this guy anymore? I mean, like, you're good. You got everything. Like, you're happy. But he's like, no, I kind of grew attached to him. So it's almost like it seems like he's normal and he's in his peaceful paradise afterlife. And then all of a sudden he realizes, I'm so messed up. I need him still.
Right.
So, he didn't get better.
I mean, the truth is that. Yeah. I mean, the truth is that had he stayed in the field of reeds, he would have been dead. He would not have come back. And then the ending would have been very different. I think also the other realization that he had come to was that while Steven was not real in the classical sense, that personality had helped him survive, had helped him to deal, and was just a very important part of who he is. So.
Yeah. And I love what you mentioned about how they weren't balanced. And then the finale really, when he saved him and they kind of got to the point where they were in sync, they were balanced. And then, we switched off back and forth. Here's Steven in the suit the actual suit, and he goes, "Okay, Mark, you can take this one," and then he changes into the big Moon Knight suit. So they're like interchanging, and they're in sync with each other. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then it made me wonder, where going to go from here? This is such a perfect ending. And then you see that Jake guy. You're like, there's the imbalance. There's still part of him that's not balanced. So that could be the thing. Like each season, they grow and grow and grow as a team. And then there's like 12 Moon Knights. And then, I don't know. I don't know if they'll go that far with it. I hope not. Like, who's going to be the hero of the week, instead of the villain of the week? It's going to be a different guy each time. And that's more, like, it's impressive, too, that he can play so many characters off of each other, it being the same guy.
Right. Yeah. I think that we've just, I think if you haven't really appreciated Oscar Isaac as an actor, and he's done some pretty big roles, like Apocalypse in the X-Men franchise. He was Poe?
Poe,
in the newer Star Wars movies. So he's done quite a bit, but I do think this really did give him an opportunity to shine as this character as well.
I want to
make sure we talk about Khonshu a little bit. I think that sometimes it's easy for us to think about characters as being either good or bad, but I think there's something we've realized here is that Khonshu is, I think, the epitome of morally gray, right? Yeah. I mean, not he's literally gray in coloration, and he's made up of skeletal bones. So it shouldn't surprise us that he's willing to do dark things to get what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, make no bones about it, Khonshu sometimes does things that are morally objectionable.
For sure.
Khonshu and the other god that they were fighting against, I can't remember the name of them right now.
Right, yeah. I can't remember either.
Yeah, but they were both very similar. They're both about bringing judgment upon people. The real difference was that the god that Harrow followed and served wanted to bring judgment on people before the fact, before they ever had a chance to go and commit a crime and judge them right there. Khonshu wanted to bring justice upon evildoers once it's been committed.
Right.
So you weren't going to get away with it. But both of them ultimately are about, killing people. And so that was the thing there, that while Khonshu brings justice against those who were evil, he's more than okay with doing some morally questionable things to make it happen.
Yeah. And I love that battle. Like, as they're fighting in their avatar human forms, you see the gods. It was almost like some Power Rangers thing. So it's like this giant
monster grow.
That's what it felt like. They were huge, giant monster gods fighting behind the buildings, and then here's the people fighting down here. And it's like when you think Khonshu is killed almost. He gets like speared or something, and then that's when like the suit starts like dwindling away and all this stuff. And that whole like battle was so cool, the way they did that. Like, there were two battles at the same time that were synced together, and it was almost like a Bluetooth projection or something. I don't know, but it was pretty cool.
Right. So I think the story part we haven't talked about is, and here it is, Mother's Day. I think one person who does not get a Mother's Day wish is Wendy Spector, Mark's mother.
That was terrible.
It was jacked up. I mean, clearly the tragic loss of Mark's brother in that cave, it was sad. And while I think his fault for doing something stupid, they knew they weren't supposed to be in there, but the mother never got over it. And I think that perhaps it was obvious that she was dealing with mental health issues of her own. And so, like mother, like son. But the idea, though, that she carried that on for the rest of his life. That to me, that was brutal.
It really was, and I love the flashbacks because it also reminds me of shows like Arrow, where they would tell little bits at a time instead of just telling you the whole story all linear. I love that back and forth, just kind of web of story that can pop up at any moment and send you in a different direction to kind of give you context to what you're doing now. I love that style of storytelling. I mean, it works when it works. I mean, it's got to be the right mixture. You can't just do that all the time. Like, imagine watching Sesame Street. It's like, hello, Snuffy. Remember when I was a little bird? Like, that wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
But yeah, in the right context, it's great.
I think the last thing I want to make sure we talk about is Leela.
Yeah.
So Mark's wife, Leela, played by May Kalamawi.
Yeah.
They really do set her up to be this badass female Egyptian superhero, which I thought was really awesome.
It was really good. She did such a good job.
She really did. It reminded me sort of like a Hawkeye Falcon kind of character.
Yeah.
And I think though she had made it very clear that she didn't want to be an avatar for her entire life.
Right.
She was doing this, yeah. But I think that doing it, even for the brief amount of time that she did, it made her realize that representation mattered. There were people that needed to see somebody like her doing something heroic.
Definitely. And then she I guess kind of, then she finally accepted for a minute, like, to be the avatar, and then that struggle, she was like, I don't want to, and then she, like you said, she realized she kind of needed to, she kind of had to.
So we have not seen her after that moment,
right?
We don't know whether that brief time that she became a hero and the avatar of this god, that she's stuck with it, or whether she has totally turned her back on it. My guess is that they're leaving the door open for her to have access to those powers.
It might be kind of like laying dormant in her somewhere, and then all of a sudden she's here, whenever she has to, like a mother lifting a school bus kind of thing.
Exactly. So here's what I do know is that Moon Knight is usually listed, I think, as one of the Midnight Suns.
Okay, yeah.
So, like Daredevil, I think even so, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Punisher. I'm trying to think about the other ones that are in there.
Oh yeah. No, I can't think. I had them in my head a second ago, and I was like,
Right. So my guess is there's a possibility that by introducing Moon Knight, they may end up pulling those characters in at some point too.
Yeah, I would love to see some crossover. I mean,
it would be great.
Maybe the next big. I know they kind of said that the Avengers are done, like those types of, like, not Avengers specifically, but those types of like big crossover team up movies. But I still think we'll get like new Avengers or like something like that down the line.
Well, I mean, I think that the point that we figured out here is that, a lot of these movies, a lot of these TV shows on Disney Plus, they're being set up to introduce characters that we're going to see come about later on. For example, what we're seeing right now with Multiverse of Madness. If we hadn't been watching things like, Loki and WandaVision, perhaps that movie wouldn't make as much sense.
Right, and I still need to watch that, though. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either. So
I know one spoiler. I know one spoiler because I was just scrolling, and it was like the headline said something like, fans react to blank's shocking return or whatever, and it didn't say who it was, and then I clicked it, and I was like, but it's nothing like that would make me go, oh man, why? I can never watch it now. It's nothing that big. It's not Tobey Maguire level, but it is sort of that way. But that's all I'll say. And I know that I watched that one final trailer before the movie was released, and we see that it's not really a spoiler if it's in the trailer, I guess.
Right.
You hear Patrick Stewart's voice. you see the yellow chair, you see the hand, like you know it's him. You don't see him, but you see his arm on the chair. But that was really cool. That made me go, okay, this is how they do it. And the whole Illuminati, I guess it is, and I guess Bill Gates is there. But no, apparently that's what the world thinks. Bill Gates, and who else was in the Illuminati? I don't know. Michael Jackson, who isn't really dead. He's just I don't know. But no, that movie looks good. I've been hearing mixed things. Some people say that was terrible. Some people say it was the greatest thing ever. But that's any movie, I guess. People said the same thing about Forrest Gump or the Muppet movie. I don't know.
I think part of it too, that the bar for MCU movies has been just placed so high. I mean, I don't know how exactly we're supposed to, top what the Spider-Man movie, for example. How do you top that?
Even that itself gets kind of mixed hate and love.
Well, they're just stupid.
Yeah, they're wrong. I think since Endgame was so huge and massive that everything after was like, what have you done for me lately? Kind of, it's like that wasn't good enough. But I love it.
Yeah. I think the other part of it too, from what people are saying, is that Multiverse of Madness, it is different from a lot of the other MCU movies.
Yeah.
Part of it is that they brought in Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
So he's got a very distinctive style, and
looks like the same chair from the X-Men cartoon.
It really does.
Yeah,
it really does.
And some people are saying this is going to be maybe the live-action version of the X-Men. What was the new cartoon going to be called?
97.
97. Yeah, that he's pulled from that, but live action, just like the evil Doctor Strange. Is it from What If? Some people say it's not. I don't know. Like, we see so many little teasers in the trailers that, like, I don't want to dig into them because I will see so much more. I'm going to find out that there's a Spider-Man in it or something. Who knows? Like, I don't really want to know until I see it. But the part of me does want to dig. Like, I'll just look a little bit of the spoiler. Oh, no. Close it. X. And that's how I ruin some movies. I ruined Spider-Man that way.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is, though, that everybody that sees it feels like they've got to give their unedited 2 cents about whether they liked it or hated it or whatever else. It is, for the night is dark and full of spoilers right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have been avoiding articles about Doctor Strange just because I think I might be going to see it sometime this week. I don't know exactly when or if, but I'm planning on it. Like, I want to go see it. Yeah. So I might go. I might go tomorrow night. I might go Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know, but I really do definitely want to see that.
What I will say, people, the one thing that I hear across the board that people really do like is, Elizabeth Olsen's, continuation as the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
they really do say that she's probably one of the best parts of the movie.
And I definitely have always loved it, like that character and Elizabeth Olsen. I wish Elizabeth Olsen could go back in time and be Michelle Tanner. Maybe I'm just like a little upset still that they didn't come back for Fuller House. And like, I don't know. But yeah, something else that was big though. We found out that they have canceled officially Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow. I know a lot of people are like, "Yay, finally Legends is dead." Like, no, shut up. I love that shit. I don't know.
So you're still sulking.
A little. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, and there's even like a petition, like change.org, like save Legends, save Batwoman, all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know. I wasn't ready yet. I wanted to see the Booster Gold stuff that they were planting the seeds for, Hopefully they bring in Booster Gold to Flash or something like that, because it seems like they put in all this effort into introducing this character only to go, man, never mind. And it wasn't anybody's fault. That's what's so frustrating. I've read some of the executive producers. They have co-showrunners for what they had, I guess, for Legends. And I don't remember their names, but one of them was talking in an interview, I guess, at TV Line or one of these articles, talking about how everybody at DC loved the show and supported it. Everybody at Warner Brothers loved it. Everybody at CW loved. Like, then who and why? Why is it gone if everybody supported it?
Yeah, that to me that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's a budget thing, maybe. I don't know.
I think there were people that are trying to you know, not put blame on anybody for why the show ended.
Right.
Listen, for me, the show was in its best for me during the first 3 or 4 seasons, and
I can agree with that.
And during that time, you had these really clear stories where they are legitimate heroes, and they're focused on cleaning up the time stream. And yes, I loved that moment where they became that Super Bebo, Captain Planet, our powers combined, right?
That was amazing.
That moment, that was the epitome of the entire show. And had they stopped right there, frankly, I would have died happy. And I think that ultimately, with that really though, that point was like a shift in the entire show, where they made the decision after Super Bebo. If people loved that, let's see what happens if we throw all of the rules out the window.
I think it backfired a good bit. I mean, I still enjoyed it because I don't know. I'm one of those people that if I liked it from the beginning, I'm going to keep liking it.
Right.
With the exception of Batwoman, I kind of gave up on Batwoman after season 2, or like in the middle of season 2. So I finished it, I think, but I was like, well, I'm not really into it. After the whole Kate Kane thing, I was just kind of done with that. And after like the 3rd episode, Naomi, I was kind of done with that. But shows like The Flash and Legends and Arrow, which Arrow ended a couple of years ago, and it's still crazy to think that the Crisis has been a little over 2 years ago. Wow.
I know.
But yeah, I don't know. I kept watching Legends just because. And I've always liked like Katie Lotz. Like I was like, oh, I like her from the first time she popped up on Arrow.
No,
I mean, it's nothing against. I know people that I get what you're saying. It's not so much that these people are bad. It's just the writing, and they didn't really have much of a direction. It's like throwing everything in a blender and just seeing what comes out. And
right.
I get it. It was, instead of jumping the shark, they kind of tripped over it by accident. They were trying to do great things, and nothing would really stick. There were some great moments. There were some low moments. And for me, it started going down, not downhill, but it started getting weaker when all the originals started leaving. And by the end of it, you had Sarah Lance as really the only original cast member who wasn't even real anymore. She was a clone alien hybrid. So it was like, okay, that's cool.
There really was nothing left.
No, there was really nothing left of the original heroes.
I will say that it is very common that as a show starts to kind of plan its exit, that they still are looking at creating backdoor pilots for characters and things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they had done for Arrow when they were going to be doing like Green Arrow and the Canaries.
Yeah,
that show set in the future. I would still like to see that, and the fact that they brought some of that back for the Flash Armageddon part of it. Again, it seems like something they're not quite ready to let go of, and I feel like that's what they're doing with Booster Gold. They're trying to maybe at least introduce a character that they may be able to pull in maybe sometime in the future.
Right. And which is good. I had a feeling that he was going to play a big role in season, it would have been 8, I think, of Legends.
Right.
And they said, like, they wrote it. One of the writers or executive producer of Legends, I forget, said, like, the cliffhanger, they had a little bit of a cliffhanger. I mean, they had this closure and everything. Nate left and he went to live in the totem, I guess, but still, like, all this stuff happened and it felt like a series finale. But that was before the actual finale of the season, but it felt like there was a lot of closure in the show. But then they had this little bit and it's like, oh, come on, why? I hate that. But they did that because they were like, let's see, we're probably going to get renewed at least one more. Because why would you not think that? I mean, it's been going on for 7 years. Of course, one more, sure. Everything else going to 8, except for Batwoman. And Black Lightning, I don't think they got to 8. But still, I mean, it is what it is. It ended, and things come to an end. there have been worse endings in TV and different shows.
So as far as Batwoman for me, I feel like, partly I've got to say that their acrobatics with the plot, trying to write out Kate Kane and then bring in Ryan Wilder. As much as I liked Ryan Wilder's character, I do feel like Kate Kane's departure as Batwoman, I really felt like that blasted a huge hole in season 2.
Yeah.
It just sucked up so much life and energy, and it was such a glaring, obvious thing they were doing, that I think it made it really, really hard for Ryan Wilder's character to catch a lot of steam.
Right.
Season 3 for me, I thought was really good, but I feel like as good as season 3 was for Batwoman, I think that the damage had already been done at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not her fault as an actor or as a character. It's like you said, it's really weird. You know, it's almost like if the Flash just suddenly dies and then some random mailman becomes a superhero and replaces him. And like, what? It would just be so different and so weird, and it would work for a little while, but then it would just kind of fall apart because, like, where do you go?
There's right. There's a reason why they only had Wally West as the Flash for a very short time.
Yeah, like 10 minutes, I think.
Right. So I think they that's certainly something that was, though in the comics, Wally was the Flash
for like what, 30 years?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably more of an issue with Kenny Linsdale, the actor who played Wally, than anything else. But I don't know. I think as far as potential, I think that Batwoman could have gone further. I do wonder if the exit of Batwoman is partly due to the fact that they're bringing on this Gotham Knights show.
Yeah, I think because they look at it and they see all these, like, looking at Titans. Everybody's like, I'm sick and tired of Batman. I'm sick and tired of Everybody hates Batman. They don't hate Batman, but it's like this show isn't Batman. But there's so much talk about Bruce Wayne and Batman, and that was the case at least a little bit on Batwoman and then in Titans. So they're probably like, yeah, maybe the fans don't want 2 Batman-centered themed shows. Let's take this one away and put this new toy out here. Like, I think that could have been a big part of it. Which I don't think I could have kept up with so many different Batman shows. Just give us a Batman show.
Right.
Just Batman. Boom. Click, I'll watch it.
I still feel like, though, considering all the work they did in Crisis and bringing all of these different worlds to Earth Prime, and then even making Batwoman one of, like, the Pantheon, that we never have them cross over again.
Yeah.
Other than having Diggle come on.
And that new DC show, they're all DC shows on CW. Duh. But you know what I mean? There was supposed to be this, like, I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be like Diggle training a whole, like, academy of people.
Right.
It's something University or like Heroes U or something like that. That's supposed to be coming up at some point, which sounds interesting. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, of course, there's so much we haven't talked about. Of course, it's like, wow, let's look at the Flash for a minute. They, did something really huge this past week.
They really did.
And I had a feeling that was going to happen when I heard, death, like teased and stuff. I'm like, okay, I know who this is. And they kill off Killer Frost. Like, she's actually dead for real. It's not like a dream. It's not like, I'm not really dead, I'm back. She's gone. And also, though, Deathstorm is also gone, which, they had to basically convert her into, like, the anti-Deathstorm in order to stop Deathstorm is the only way. And, spoilers if you haven't watched Flash. What a great time to warn people. But yeah, it just was, I couldn't believe it. Like, I kind of thought they were going to do it, but then at the same time, I didn't expect them to actually do it for real.
So my problem with the decision is that between Caitlin and between Frost, I liked Frost.
Yeah, because now without Frost, what is Caitlin?
Yeah, there was. I don't feel like they've really given Caitlin a whole lot of interesting things to do. And while I respect the fact that she's been on the show since the beginning, since before there was a Flash, she doesn't have a very huge role.
No.
So I had really wanted her to keep doing the powers thing.
I have a theory, though.
Yeah.
Now that Frost is dead, I have this weird theory that, and it kind of reminded me of Moon Knight in a way, that Caitlin is going to be all depressed and she's going to create this split personality, maybe, or like now that those powers are gone, maybe somehow they'll merge back into her, and as a result, she will create a new Frost, sort of like how we had a new Nora,
right?
Whenever she was erased and then came back as a different version.
I mean, I think anything is possible. We don't know exactly what's next for her character. I do know that I believe Danielle Panabaker is pregnant.
Yeah, that might have been part of it.
And so, so they're trying to make it easier for her to continue in the role. Frost was, between the two of them, the much more dynamic fighter. So they had to. I'm sure they had to figure out a way to make that so that she wasn't jumping around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll have a chance to hopefully this time. And I have not updated this date yet, but it's not live Sunday, May 1st. It will be Sunday, June 5th.
It's actually June 3rd.
Is it the 3rd?
Because it's a Friday, isn't it?
It might have been Friday. That's right, because we were going to do Sunday, but then it was Friday was better for him. That's right. So June 3rd, I've been in touch with Eric Wallace, his assistant, and he had a new assistant. So that was probably a big reason, or part of the reason at least, why he had to delay and everything happened and everything. But yeah, and apparently it was his idea to kill off Frost. Because I read a little clip, I read a clip, but that didn't make any sense. I read this little like snippet of an interview that Danielle Panabaker did about that episode, and she said that Eric Wallace had brought her the idea of killing off Frost. So we'll get that, pick his brain and be like, and just really yell at him for killing her.
Here's what I'm sure.
Or praise him for it.
Yeah, I think that if the death of Frost kind of figures into the greater story, and we're not done yet with the season.
Right.
I'm curious to see where with Deathstorm gone, where are they going to go now?
They're going to go. They're going
to have to deal with the time sickness thing for.
And
there we go.
Corey says Eric Wallace has a time sickness. Maybe.
Right.
I mean, maybe he does. Maybe he erased time, and maybe that's where his assistant went, his old one, because maybe he touched him and went away. Like
right.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. And hopefully this time we'll get the chance to talk. I mean, I get it. It's a little frustrating when you have something planned, and but he did give us plenty of notice of, hey, we can't do this.
This though, I think that we've been around long enough to know that as much as it sucks, people have busy, complicated lives, and sometimes you plan a date and then you don't realize that something else is in conflict with it, and you got to reschedule. So that kind of happens, but
yeah, especially with big names.
That. Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I reached back out to Claire, the publicist for Warner Brothers, one of them.
I think Steven froze up here. We'll see if he ends up coming back or not. We're going to find out that piece that fell on the floor was like his router or something that he needs to stay connected to the internet. Steven. All right, I'm going to give Steven maybe about 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to start talking about Superman and Lois.
Oh, are we back?
Finally.
And I'm frozen.
You're still frozen.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. It did this to me Friday as well.
I swear your internet needs an upgrade.
I think so. I mean, it did it to me on Friday, and it seems like it does it to us on a weekly basis. Maybe it's the universe saying, shut up. But I'm going to restart my video, hopefully, here. Oh, my gosh. I hate this. I don't know if it's my internet or if it's just the router itself. I think it might be a router issue.
You know, like for me, I've got my laptop like hardwired into my internet. And that really does that is one of those things that I do to make sure that I don't have things lag or things slow down, which sometimes happens when you're on your Wi-Fi. All right, he's popping back in, so I feel like when he comes back, we're going to go ahead and talk about Superman and Lois.
Hopefully, is it back? Am I back?
I hear you. I don't see you.
One more time. Okay.
There we go. All right.
I think I just have the worst router in the world.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
$80 a month.
My goodness. That's $80 too much.
Yeah.
Okay. So Superman and Lois before we get cut off again.
Yeah.
Right? And did we talk about the last 2 episodes, or did we just talk about?
Oh,
I don't think we talked about Bizarros in a Bizarro World yet, have we?
I don't think we talked much about it. I mean, we may have a little bit, but I don't think we really went into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was these episodes were the ones that we knew were coming. At some point, somebody was going to end up crossing over into this alternate Earth and interact with them there. What were some kind of shocking things that you noticed though about this other Earth?
Oh my gosh! Like, what can I say about this Earth? Things were a lot different. I think the biggest thing that I can really notice is that Superman wasn't hiding anything. He's just like, yep. It's my wife over here. It's my kids. I'm Clark Kent. I'm Superman. Everybody, hey, what's up? Want an autograph? No. Oh, like he wasn't evil at first. That developed over time, but still, the fact that they were so open with it, and now everybody's expecting. Like the kids are like, well, can't we just do that here? But yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me.
No, it was huge, and I think that's been one of the themes that they've been playing with here for a while. Is this idea of why does Clark keep up this put all this work into leading this dual life of being Clark Kent and Superman, right? Even right now, he's getting a lot of pressure from his kids about why don't we just tell the world who we are, and that what we see in this bizarre world is we see an entire super family that are living their lives publicly, and they've become these celebrities. Like almost like they were on a reality TV show instead. And as we find out, was it all that they thought it was cracked up to be?
It was way worse because then, it kind of literally pushed them apart. And then, ended up having Bizarro all messed up and deformed and like zombie almost.
Well, and I think that we had that zombification was really the result of using kryptonite like a drug.
That's true. Yeah, that did do that. But I guess it was that split with his family, that wedge that really pushed him to that. And yeah, that was crazy. And then I loved when they did it again. They always like, oh, look what we're doing, and then nope, we're not doing it. When you see Bizarro Jonathan and regular Jonathan like kind of not fighting, but you think they're gonna merge. You oh my gosh, this is how the real Jonathan gets powers. It's finally happening. He's gonna be complete. And then kind of a good timing here. How many pendants do you need to merge with someone? I thought it was both, but it looked like Jonathan was using one. Bizarro Jonathan to try to merge with regular Jonathan.
So I think the pendants actually kind of come together.
They're like Bluetooth, or well, no, they merge or something. Like they combine.
I think they do combine. So they end up combining together to make one.
Okay,
and then they're able to come together.
that makes sense.
And apparently, you know, Allie Alston was at a place where they were as combined as they were going to get, so she could give him the pendant at that point.
Right.
I do wonder, Jonathan was scared and didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I do feel like he's been set up to be in this place where, his doppelganger could easily tell him, hey, if you want powers, you do this with me, I'll make you one of the most powerful people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it almost would have made a lot more sense instead of forcing him, the enticement that he could finally get those abilities that he wanted would have been much more clever. And it does seem like the Jonathan from the other world, he's, well, a little bit smarter than his counterpart here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and not that Jonathan is stupid by any means, but he's just not as sharp. He's not as quick, and he's still holding the wrench. And he's like, but then Bizarro Jonathan already fixed the whole car, so he's a little ahead. And I think that's the experience of having the powers. He's gotten into his head. He's got the ego about him, the confidence, like nothing can hurt me. Well, except for, I guess, the sun, because it weakens them since they're opposites. But I mean, it was an interesting story. It still is, because it's still ongoing. But it was really, they teased me and then they took it away. I thought somehow they would merge, but then the consciousness of our regular Jonathan would be in control. Sort of like Ralph did me back when DeVoe took over his body, and then he came back out of it. I thought it was going to be something like that, but then some weird thing. But I mean, we'll see where it goes. Superman and Lois still has a bunch of episodes left. I love, though, like the biggest part of the last episode where, basically Clark decides, I'm going to tell Lana I'm Superman. Finally, after like 72 years of knowing each other.
Right.
And it was the cheesiest thing ever, but I loved it because he's like, Lana, it's like, what are you doing in the middle of the road? And he's just like, oh, you're Superman. And it's like, really? That was it? Just taking off the glasses?
Well, he does levitate off the ground.
Well, that's true. But I mean, it's like that moment before he takes off, I'm just like, and that's all he does. He's like, huh? And then he starts to like levitate. But still, it was like the idea still like overall that Superman in any form, any version could just take his glasses off and be a completely different person. At least Dean Cain did his hair back, and then messed it all up, like put it forward when he was Clark. But still, it's just so weird. But now Lana knows. So it makes us wonder who else will find out. And I think it's about time Lana knew the secret.
No, I think that she's been Clark's best friend his entire life, and somebody that had Lois not enter the picture, or had she not gotten married to Kyle, they may have ended up, being a couple.
Yeah.
So I really do feel at this point that that Sarah is going to find out the secret too. I think she deserves it. Right now she just thinks that that Jordan is just this jerk, and that he just doesn't have time for her.
I feel so bad for that kid.
I do too, because I think he legitimately cares about her, and the dynamics of the family where they've got to keep this secret, it's costing him a relationship. And I think that all of them are seeing the dark side of their secret identities.
Yeah, and I love that theme of this season. Really, it's like, let's be honest, let's open up, and then he tries. He gives her this letter, this great letter, and we find out that in the letter he tells her about his powers and everything, and then she's like, I don't want your stupid letter. And then like this little smirk and then leaves. It's like, please read it. Just read it. And because he can't really articulate what he wants to say with his own words out loud. So I can relate to that.
I think the problem is though that he's going to finally decide to tell her with his parents' blessing, and she's going to find out before he tells her.
Exactly.
That's really what's I think is going to end up happening in that department. I don't know as if they're going to have a happy ending, the two of them.
I don't think so, because she's like, how come you didn't tell me? You're lying about who you are. I don't even know you. We've seen it 100 times. Right. But not that it's a bad thing. It's just that usually there's a secret that some guy character is keeping, or even the female character, and the other finds out in ways that they shouldn't find out. Then they like, oh my gosh. It's happened in so many superhero stories.
Right. Well, so I think that Lana, I think Superman thinks that by coming out to Lana, that it's the best thing for her, that she deserves to find out who he is. It's very possible that she might be very hurt that he's kept this lie from her all this time.
Yeah, because we don't really know her reaction. And I think that it ended on the perfect note. At first I was like, okay, they're probably going to end it as going, Lana, and then like go to take the glasses off and it would just cut. And then you'd see like what happens in the next episode. But I loved how they ended it right there. Like, wait, you're Superman? Boom. And it's like, you don't really see her reaction. You see her receive the information and know that it happened, but boom. And it's perfect. I'm like, no, I have to wait another few days to find out what she thinks of this. Is she mad? Is she happy? Like, or is she like, oh, I knew already, we know that's not the case, but still you don't know how she's going to take this. And that's what makes it so interesting, I think.
It does. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of things right now where, we're not quite sure where they're going to go. And we still haven't seen what this merged Allie Alston is capable of.
Yeah. I mean, can she use the Force? Who knows?
I mean, they're saying that she has the ability of a god, right?
Khonshu.
Right.
Well, completely different universes, Marvel,
right.
Disney, but still.
Maybe she turns into Naomi.
Maybe.
Which means we're going to have, 10 episodes of blah and then with a lot of hype.
Yeah. Oh, look, Superman. Let's just say he's there so people will get interested because I said Superman. And that's honestly, that right there is kind of exaggerating a little bit, but that's exactly what hooked me into the show. I'm like, that's going to cross over with Superman and Lois. Finally, something's going to interesting. And it didn't.
And it never came up again.
And so it was like a bait and switch. It literally was a bait and switch. And that's what kind of drove me away from the show. After like the third or fourth episode, I'm like, nope, I'm sorry. I can't. It's this bait and switch. I hate it. It's like,
I'm still watching.
Yeah.
I know. I'm still watching it because I'm intrigued to see where the story goes, but I don't have a whole lot of hope for it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of an Archie comic without all the Archie comic stuff. It's just some generic characters talking, going nowhere. And no, it hates anybody in the show. What I did see, they like, the actors were great. The action was decent. Like the effects, like it looks great. But it's just a story. It's like, what are you doing? It's going to be some weird mind twist where at the end of it, she's like, oh, I'm in a mental institution and my name is Steven. I don't know.
I really do feel like all they need are like a dog and a van and they have Scooby-Doo.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched much past seasons or episode 2 or 3, but what I have seen of it since then is just not great.
You're not missing a whole lot.
I'm excited.
Lois,
yeah,
Superman and Lois is far better.
That's my favorite Arrowverse show right now. Even though I love the Flash, and that used to be my favorite. I think the Flash as a character is still my favorite superhero character. That maybe tied between him and Spider-Man, but I don't know. Superman and Lois they've had a couple episodes that weren't as high as others, but they've never had a bottom of the barrel episode. I don't think.
No, I agree. It's been consistently good.
Yeah.
Since the beginning. We have not talked about the Jordan Evil Jonathan fight.
Yeah, and how Jordan just goes in and whoosh flies him up, and we've never seen him fly. Well, that much, I guess. He's levitated and
Right.
flown a little, but he's never shot up to the skies in the atmosphere. Like, and then he realizes, oh crap, and then he starts to fall to Earth, and then of course Superman swoops in and gets him everything. But that was a pretty big moment, and I think that
great.
was. I love
It
how
was
they kind
great.
of tapped into the idea that when the human doesn't really get tied down as being a human, he just natural instincts, and he is all powerful, and then he realizes, oh no, and then the lack of confidence comes back, and the powers go away, and I love that.
There's always been this sense though that like, Jordan was gonna step up and defend his brother, right?
Yeah,
That sense that when the time was right, when he was needed, he was gonna do what he needed to do, and evil Jonathan totally underestimated him. He thought that he was fighting his Bizarro brother, uh, uh, who doesn't have any powers, and even this little crack about, I guess the weak one has the powers here, and
yeah. I love when he came back with that. I was like, that's so good.
yes, um, that fight was great. It really was great, and it was again one more step from him, kind of stepping into that role of, um, of being Superboy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm still really, I still feel like we're in this weird place where, you know, comic book wise, Jonathan is the one who has the powers, and yet
Yeah,
here on the show, it is Jordan who has them, and here we have this pendant that can merge people. Um, I feel like there is this interesting opportunity that
yeah.
could present itself.
In several different ways too, because like we talked before a while back, I believe before the season started, about what if Jonathan and Jordan merge, and somehow I know they're not the same person, they're not duplicates or anything, but what if they kind of are though? Because before Crisis, only one, and we had like what was it, a 7 hour discussion with ladies over at what was it?
Great Geeks debate.
Yeah, why did I blank out on that? Wow. We all talked about that. It's like it does kind of feel like they want to tease at least that those two are coming together, but
So
then
we know that evil Jonathan has the pendants.
yeah,
If somehow, um, our Jordan and Jonathan were to end up merging together, uh, they were supposed to be one person from the beginning.
yeah, they really were.
Yeah,
Um, I would love to see that because I want to see Superman or Lois or either of the kids, somebody in that show acknowledge, like, wait a minute, this is different. But they don't know that. They've had their life. But maybe Martian Manhunter, like, Superman, you must remember, blah, 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 or something. I don't know. But, like, I hope they eventually at least touch on that and be like, oh, remember Crisis? It's almost like it didn't happen. Like, this is a reboot of the
yeah.
same exact characters. Which is neat. It stands on its own, and I love that. But at the same time, it's like you got to have a little bit in there. I think that's what makes them all tie together and makes it so interesting. I'm excited for what's coming in the Flash because like we said a minute ago, where do you go from here? You know, Frost is dead. The villain is dead, and this is the first season, I believe, where they had 3 different story arcs within one season. Most of them have one big long arc or 2 separate, like mid-season break, totally different villain. This one has 3, really. It started with which is a short one, but it started with Armageddon. You had that little bit. It was like 5 episodes. And then you have this new thing, which was, I don't remember how many episodes, maybe 8 or 9 episodes from the Death Storm story, like from here to here. And it took a while to build to it, and then the Frost death, and then there's this third section. And from what I've been reading, I don't know any spoilers or any details. We have seen set photos with a black suit with Tom Cavanaugh wearing it, and it's like every time he says he's gone, he comes right back. Don't know anything about it, no context there. I'm thinking they're going with Zoom because in the comics, Zoom was Eobard Thawne, and he had the yellow suit that we know as the Reverse Flash suit. And in the show, of course, Zoom was a different character entirely. He had the black suit, all that. So I think maybe this is going to be a combination of both. But I've read interview pieces where every person that has spoke about it on the cast, like you'll never believe who you see. There's going to be some new faces, some old faces. You'll just, your jaw will drop when you see who's coming and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I have a feeling that they're going to hire back Hartley Sawyer as Ralph Dibny. I don't know.
That would be quite a stretch.
I'm really that was a good one. I can't beat that. I was like, I'm elongating my hopes, like, but that doesn't.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know, but I just had this weird feeling, like when I read one of them, I can't remember who said it, but you're going to be really shocked. I mean, so shocked about who you see coming. And the only person I can think of is Ralph. I mean, would I be shocked to see John Wesley Shipp? No, we've seen him a lot, and I love when he's on the show. Would we be shocked to see the original Eobard Thawne? No. I mean, we've seen him before. Like, all these names wouldn't be such a shock unless we find out Barry's mom never actually died and she was living in a gas station in New Mexico or something crazy.
Right.
That'd be shocking.
Or Frost ends up coming back.
Yeah, but from the sounds of it, she's not coming back. But maybe she is. Maybe there's a bizarro world Frost or another Earth Frost. I don't know. Mirror World Frost. I don't know, but like apparently they're building up to some big, huge conclusion. And I know Eric Wallace has said that season 8 could, if it ended at 8, it could have ended. They wrap everything up, this whole time sickness storyline. And he said, like, his idea for the end of 8, in the season 8, he knew at the start of 6 or somewhere around 6, he knew it was like a 3-season story that he is finally going to wrap all up. And so that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. Maybe Iris's mom comes back. I don't know. I'm trying to place who could come back that would actually shock me as a fan of the show. Unless I see myself. Maybe that's why he hasn't come on yet, because he's planning on putting us in there in the finale.
Now that would be something.
Everybody's going to be shocked because, like, who are those guys? And then the next episode of this show will get 1 million viewers.
I mean, they brought back Eddie.
Yeah, and that was interesting.
Right.
I thought that was like actually Eddie at first. I was like, whoa. I thought Deathstorm could have brought him back. Maybe that's part of his evil power. He can resurrect the dead. But it turns out it was Deathstorm, but it was just like a vision or a ghost, but not of Eddie.
I mean, it was all an illusion to make them suffer, so that he could feed on it.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's see what Corey's saying here. The Flash to Dibny. Why do you wear that mask? Were you burnt by acid or something? Like, that's pretty funny. That was a weird story, and it's like it made me think they were going to recast Ralph. But the fact that they haven't yet kind of leads me to think more about bringing him back. Because I think, what has it been, like almost 2 years? Or a little less than 2 years since he was fired? And I think that's enough time. I think he served his purpose. I think he's paid his punishment. I think he deserves at least another chance to be a decent human being and come back and show that that he's a good person. Because that was the irony of it all. Everybody always said, this show's about second chances and new starts. But yeah, this guy gets fired, which I get it. But I think there's redemption to be had. I think he could come back. Why not?
That's a big if, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a big if.
It's a kind of a touchy subject, I guess. Or at least recast Ralph and bring the character back without the actor. Be somebody entirely different.
I don't know. I think that we're right now seeing the end of the Flash, and I hate to say that. We know that Joe West is leaving the show.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder if Joe's leaving the show, then where does that leave you know, his wife,
the baby that we've never seen one
right?
time, which is weird.
Is she going to stay on the show? Um,
Yeah,
but he's going to go.
I think it might be like when he had those back issues and he wasn't on the show for like half a season or most of the whole season. And they kind of explained it away, like, "Oh, Dad's with the baby over and like seeing Wally over in Kenya or wherever he was supposed to be living." Um, and they kind of just explained it that way. It was kind of not lazy, but it's like, what do you say? Like, how do you
Right.
explain it? We do know that they were renewed for season 9, but we don't know what capacity. It's rumored that it's going to be a short run, kind of like Arrow season 8 was, which I would be happy with that. But we know for sure there's going to be at least one more season. We don't know how long it's going to be, but we know something's coming. And I'll be so excited to finally get to talk to Eric Wallace and just really try to at least see if he gives us the Jordan Elsas signals.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Maybe. Because we know that Jordan was lying to us. But
so here's the other thing that we didn't call him out on, but I remember in the interview that he was sporting black nail polish.
Wait a minute, I didn't notice that. Wow.
Go back and rewatch it.
I'm gonna have to do that.
And you will see that he's got black nail polish on.
Interesting.
So what's my guess? My guess is they were already filming at that point.
Could have been. It could have been, and if they weren't filming yet, he at least maybe was getting prepared and kind of rehearsing or something, and knew what the story was going to be at the very least. Because there's no way that kid didn't know when we asked him. There's no way.
He absolutely knew. And again, black fingernail polish says Bizarro Jonathan.
Yeah.
Bizarro Jonathan says he has powers, and so he absolutely knew when we talked to him.
Wouldn't it be interesting if the first time we see Bizarro Jonathan walk onto like the well, not onto the farm, but like up to the house at night? What if that night they filmed it the same day he talked to us? Blows my mind to think that's a possibility.
That would be amazing.
Like, he's like, "Okay, guys, thanks for having me." And he goes and he's like, "Okay, put me in the makeup and the suit." He didn't make it. Or whatever. That would be amazing. We'll have to ask him next time.
Right. Well, I think that sometimes we make the assumption that it's filmed one week and then it ends up on the air the next week.
Right.
And, and they might even film the show out of sequence.
They do sometimes.
For the seasons.
Sure. I think typically it might take like 3 months or maybe a month, 1 to 3 months for like a run of episodes they've recorded to appear on TV. And that's the reason we have mid-season breaks and different holiday breaks and different breaks to kind of give them time to edit and get things ready to go. So, and you got to think of all the effects of a show like Superman and Lois,
right?
Too. It's not like an episode of South Park that could be from conception to air in 1 week, and that show is simple. You draw it and here we go. But a show like that with so many effects and such deep stories, it takes some time. But I still think, the black nail polish thing, unless he just loves black nail polish, which is possible. But that would be really cool. And I can't wait to talk to him again. I don't know when that is. I know he told us probably between seasons. So can't wait for the season to end. That sounded weird because I don't want it to end, but
I don't. But at least I love what they're giving us on Superman and Lois.
Definitely.
I could not be happier.
Love that show. It's one of my favorite shows of all, like in TV at all. I don't watch that many shows right now. I watch reruns. And it's really funny what I do is like what I watch on TV depends on what I'm doing in the moment. Like if I'm drawing something or doodling, I'm watching like King of the Hill. I don't know. It just puts me in that goofy cartoon mindset. Or if I'm just sitting, I want to watch like a dramatic thing, like a crazy, intense kind of thing. If it's the daytime, I want to watch a comedy. It's so weird how my mood changes on things. But yeah, I've really been getting into that show, The Flight Attendant, on HBO Max. It's really good. It's just, there's a little bit of comedy in there, but it's a lot of it. It kind of reminds me of Moon Knight in a way, because she doesn't necessarily have split personalities, but she does kind of like space out, and there's other versions of herself that she talks to and argues with, and then she snaps out of it and like, okay, here I am, I'm back. So there's that. There's like mystery in it, and like CIA stuff, and it's I don't know how to explain it any other way, but it's a good show. I really like that. And I think too, I'm drawn to it because I work at an airport, and it's about airplanes. I'm like, oh, cool, airports.
It is definitely related.
But yeah,
I think we're probably at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you didn't notice, we flipped our screens because I always forget to do that. And the little ticker at the bottom, I'm so used to that little news ticker thing that I forget. I always feel bad that, oh, we didn't talk about our Twitter, but they've been reading it for over an hour. So.
Right.
That's good. Less work. But you can follow us at A Part in a Hard Place or at Steven_Colton. Also at CJ_Kirk1979. And Mark Guggenheim. Follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Between a Pot and a Hard Place. Facebook.com/groups/Between a Pot and a Hard Place. Wow, I'm saying a lot really fast. And YouTube, Between a Pot and a Hard Place. I said it anyway, even though I said I didn't need to. Wow. That's a lot. But I've noticed we're getting quite a few more group members lately, which is nice.
It's great.
Now, if you all just send me $1, I can go to California twice.
I'd have a lot of dollars.
Yeah, at least over 1,000. Everybody send me 50 cents. That'd be amazing. Like, maybe they're not sending me that because they don't know my address. Let's see. Let me write it down and show you on screen.
Yes, I'm sure you can put your address on there.
It'll be safe.
Yeah, what's the worst? What's the worst that could happen?
Mark Guggenheim shows up, like, here, buddy, here's season 2 of Arrow. Like, that would be really crazy if he just knocks on the door area. It's like, hey, that's one of the things I really want. Yeah,
he's gonna deliver it himself.
Yeah, just on a bicycle from California here. It's like 7 days to get here. I love how I have to animate things. Like I'm even kicking my feet, but I'm like, no one can see my feet, so they don't know I'm like miming a bicycle.
But you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
It is.
That'd be a perfect ending. Knowing is half the battle. Good night.
You should copyright that phrase, dude.
Something tells me somebody else already did.
Maybe.
I'm like listening for them to say yes, even though I know they're not here.
But the power is yours, Steven.
Yeah. These powers combined. I'm trying to like combine all these catchphrases into one, but I can't think of any on the spot.
Booyah. Booyah.
Gosh, no, I'm not quick enough. Oh well, I'll think of something next time.
You're my lightning rod.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, what can you say?
Don't you love how clueless we look, though?
Yeah. Like, it looks like, where's Corey? He did this to us.
Yeah.
I should have saved both of them. I mean, I still have the other one. I just haven't. I didn't save it into this.
The crazy thing is, there's probably a multiverse out there where you are Black Widow and I am Wanda Maximoff.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
How come I have to be dead?
Well, in this alternate reality, not only are you her, but she's also alive.
I might have to pull a Loki and date her. That'd be a little strange, especially with the mustache. But I mean, Marvel, I'm wearing your logo, so you need to put us in the next big movie. Yeah. Not as those characters.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, Stranger Things 4.
We could be the body doubles.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I have as good of a body as Scarlett Johansson here, but I would be there. I would help her. I mean, maybe that's a good point to end on.
I think so too.
Because it could go in so many directions.
I know.
But yeah,
All
thanks
right.
everybody. It was fun to talk about all these things and catch up. This is episode 97. We're getting close to 100. I'm looking forward to 100.
So close.
As we mentioned, it was my dad's birthday. So on that day, hopefully we can make that day the same day. We're gonna review Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. I think that's different for us. We don't really talk about other stuff outside of really superhero related stuff. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to rewatch it again before that, and everything. Maybe we'll do some more stuff too. I'm going to try to have maybe video clips of different things because we haven't tried to do video clips in a while. And I played this one on Friday, but
I need to kick your ass.
I'm gonna try to see if I can upload the entire short little video that I did for what that clip is from. It's like a 3 or 4 minute thing, but it'll be a fun show. I think. Talk about some Green Lantern too, maybe because like my dad was a truck driver and his CB handle was Green Lantern, which is always weird to me. I wish I knew exactly why he picked that name, but I may never know. But I think it's kind of cool, and it was based on the comic book character. And not some random thing, but still. Why is this comment section so weird? Oh wow, okay. So Curry's asking if they believe in mustache waxing and this alternate reality.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. But I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how things go. We could get talking, and if we probably would be a lot alike. Like the same things. But yeah, that's going to be getting weird in a second. So
I think so.
I think for real this time, we're going to go ahead and get out of here and catch up next episode at 98.
It's been fun.
It has. And I might go put some longer clothes on because I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I need to either play basketball or put on a jacket.
It's going to get cool.
It's getting pretty cool here. And now that the weather has come up, that's a definite nail in the coffin for the conversation. It's always like, yeah, it's raining. Oh, it's sunny. Oh. All right, everybody.
All right.
Have a good week, and we'll catch you all next time.
All right. Take care.
See ya.